What's going on, guys? This is Carroll from MyMMAnews.com and Carroll's Corner MMA podcast. Tonight we got a special guest, Bobby Campbell, who will be fighting October 17th at the Fall Brawl 10. He's coming back at a 4 years retirement. Bobby, how you doing?
I am doing great, Kyle. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Coming out of 4 years retirement, fighting Jason Hinds from Canada. Big match for the WKL. Was it the KSABA title?
ISKA, WKL, and USKBA undisputed
USK,
welterweight world championship.
So 3 titles on the line. Thoughts on that?
I'm excited. The titles really don't mean anything to me now this far in my career, but the fight means a lot, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I know we've been doing some promos for you and getting everything out there as well.
Yeah, a lot of promos. I kind of missed this stuff. That's for sure. 4 years out of the loop, I feel like, but it's great to be back. That's for sure.
Awesome. Now tell us a little bit about training. You've been putting a lot of rounds in. You bring a lot of different guys in, different shapes and sizes to kind of simulate different scenarios.
Training's going a lot different for this camp. Actually, I'm self-trained for this fight. Actually, a lot of people don't realize that, but I've been doing everything on myself for this training camp, which is a lot different. Because of my 4 years off, I didn't want any ring rust, so I've been sparring a lot. When I mean a lot, I've been sparring a real lot. Trust me, my body hurts after a while, and when I spar, I don't go light. I always tell these guys, try to knock me out. That's it. Let's go hard. And the whole sparring camp, I've been sparring some great sparring partners, and everyone's been heavier than me. So I can't wait to be in the ring with someone close to my weight.
What made you want to come out of retirement to fight?
That itch that you just have to scratch sometimes. Especially being a promoter and a trainer. And, I own the gym, and I see the fighters every day spar, and then, I promote the shows. Just that thrill, like, I never did a drug a day in my life, so it's like my drug. Like, I need that, that feeling. I love that adrenaline, that's for sure.
As they say, gym rat, you're definitely one of those.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the thing is, it's like, people don't understand that, I guess, like, the high, what you would say, that high is so high. Like, in that ring, you just... Oh, man, it's surreal, that's for sure.
Now, take us through a little bit about your career. 7-time world kickboxing champion. Tell us a little bit about the beginning and then how you get here.
Beginning was rough, I had a great amateur background. I won an amateur world title at the age of 17. September 30th, 2001 is actually my anniversary for winning the amateur world title, so that's a long time ago, 20 years ago. I'm sorry, 2000, so it was 21 years ago. Man, I'm really showing my age. But I made my pro kickboxing debut actually 2 weeks after my 19th birthday, and I lost in the first round by 57 seconds. I got knocked out by a guy who was 19-0. So it was a very rough start, that's for sure. I went on, and I was doing great as a pro. I got to fight for my first 12-round world title fight when I was 23 years old. I wound up having a draw against Tommy Bach, which was in Chicago. And then I fought him in a rematch in Chicago, and I lost the decision. I was bummed. I didn't think I was ever going to get a chance to fight for a world title. I fought again for a world title in Switzerland. I lost by split decision, so I was real bummed. So now I'm, 0-2-1 in world title fights. And then I finally won my first world title fight. And then I wound up fighting that guy Tommy Bach again in my third world title defense. I had 6 successful title defenses at 140 pounds. I won a 147-pound world title. I won 254-pound world titles. I have one successful title defense over there. So I did it all. I mean, I fought everywhere over the world. I fought almost every world champion there was. So once again, I'm fighting another world champion. This guy's a Muay Thai world champion, and he's a big welterweight. That's for sure. I studied a lot of tapes of him, so it's just a great experience for me to do.
Now you're talking about traveling the whole world. We know England, you got a good following. You bring fighters from England over here to fight in America. Tell us a little bit about what it was like traveling to those different countries in Europe.
Traveling is a great experience. It's funny. I always tell people when you're in New York and you're the main event, people really don't care. All that really means is your last fight. funny because I'm the main event, but I'm not fighting the last fight, and everyone realizes every time I fight in New York, I'm always the main event, but I never fight last. I like to fight right in the middle where everyone's there. But yeah, New York, you fight the last fight. You're the main event, you're just the last fight. It's no big deal. Over, in Europe or any other country or state, it's a huge deal to be the main event. And those people, like, really look up to you. I remember fighting in Chicago, Wisconsin. Like, everyone knew who I was. Forget about when you fight in a different country. Everyone knows who you are. So it's like, you feel like a celebrity. So it's a great feeling fighting overseas. Or actually any other state, to be honest.
And you were supposed to fight someone else from England, and then that didn't work out. Now you're fighting Jason Hinds from Canada.
Yeah.
Bringing another guy in from another country in. Tell us a little bit about what you expect from him and, like, him coming from another country and the way he fights.
Styles make fights. This is a rough style matchup for me. I don't want to give out too many details, but I studied a lot of his tapes, and I know what he's going to do. He says he has a great game plan to fight me. There's really one great game plan to beat me, and if he does that, I'm gonna catch him, because I know exactly, I know exactly how to beat myself. So if he does that great game plan that he says he has, I'm gonna catch him. So I'm not worried about that. But I have a great game plan for him, and then to be honest, I don't think he's gonna handle it. That's for sure.
Now you've been out for 4 years, retired, but you've been training and keeping in shape. Do you believe in, like, ring rust? Is that something you believe in? I know a lot of people say there's a thing, and then some people believe there is no ring rust. So where do you fall?
I believe in ring rust, and that's what I was saying earlier. I believe in ring rust, and that's why for this training camp I've been sparring, over sparring. I didn't want any ring rust, and I've been bringing guys in all different styles because I want to make sure that there won't be no ring rust that night.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about your experiences throughout your career where something that was, like, meaningful to you, and, like, where you learned to, like, you said you started off 0-2 in your title fights. What was the thing that turned the corner for you to get that championship belt wrapped around you?
Just passion and drive, and just, keeping to yourself. A lot of times everyone, like, I'm not a big like, even when, I had a trainer on a team, like, everything was very small. I was not very, like, big into the entourage. And, like, people always think I always have a big entourage, but my actual close team is very, very small. And I feel like my circle's very small. So I always feel like I keep everything in, and that's what really motivates me to, get to the next level. And after losing a world title fight, I get devastated. I take everything very personal, that's for sure. So my first world title fight, that was a draw. I cried for like 2 weeks, to be honest. So like it meant everything to me. So I was discouraged, but I knew I had to become a world champion. That's all. That's everything that meant to me, was being a professional world champion. And once I made it happen, defending it and winning all these belts, like I said, there's 3 belts on the line. If I win, I'm a 10-time world champion. But that doesn't really mean anything to me anymore. It's all about legacy. That's why the show is called Full Brawl Legacy. Because it's about my legacy. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And talking about legacy, now you have your son Rocky. I'm sure he'll be in attendance.
Yes. I mean, the funny thing is, one of the main reasons why I'm coming out of retirement is I always said to myself, if I had a kid, I would want them to witness me fight at least once. So now I'm able. My son's 3 years old, so he's able to see his father fight. Is he gonna remember it? Probably not, but we'll always have the video and pictures. So I can say, you got to see your dad fight, which means the world to me. That's for sure.
Absolutely, that's awesome. Now, going into this fight, like, you're not going into, like you said, the titles and everything don't mean anything. It's about legacy. How does that change the way you're training? And your mental state of mind?
The people close to me, and the people real close to me, and is less than a handful. They know how much it means to me, and like I always say, winning means everything to me. It's the only option. Like to be honest, I post things that say, doesn't matter if it takes 1 round, 6 rounds, or 12 rounds, winning's the only option, and that's honestly the way I feel. I mean, I'm not losing this fight. You could say I sound cocky, but I'm not losing this fight. How I'm winning the fight is the only option. I don't know how I'm going to win, but I'm going to win. That's for sure.
Awesome. We'll throw a chair in if you have to.
Whatever you got to do to get the W. That's all that matters.
No, you're not just fighting on this fight card. You're also promoting it at Mulcahy. He's on the October 17th, that Sunday. Tell us, I'm sure, the headaches that you go through just to get the fight card put together as well as training simultaneously.
The headaches are, there's a lot of headaches. There's a lot of headaches just to promote a show without fighting on it. Now I'm promoting a show. I have a guy fighting in the co-main event who's also professional, and I'm fighting the main event, for a world title. So it is a lot. People don't understand the pressure I'm under. People get mad at me. You didn't answer my text message. I got close to 200 unread text messages, 30 voicemails I didn't get to. I'm like, you got to deal with me. It's hard keeping up with everyone, to be honest.
I'm sure it is, and because you got tickets to worry about coming in and out from all the fighters as well as yourself.
Yeah,
setting up at Mulcahy's, all those the ring coming in.
The ring coming in. You got to remember, I got to be there early in the morning. I'm fighting. I got to be there early in the morning setting up. I got to be there early before everyone else arrives to set up even more. So it's a lot. It's a lot on me. And I wear a lot of hats and. I have a good team, that works at Jackhammer Promotions. But at the end of the day, it's still, it's a lot on me because everyone has to come to me to get the answers.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Absolutely. There's a question that you got the answer.
There's always a question. There's always a question from everyone. So, and I'm the only person that can answer the questions, which I guess is good, but it sucks at a moment like this sometimes.
Absolutely. Tell us some of the other fights that are going down on this fight card.
So we got the co-main event, which is my guy Jesse McBroom. He's defending this title that he won last time. It's actually a rematch against Keith Nesbitt. Last time he actually knocked out Keith Nesbitt in the first round. The funny thing is actually Keith Nesbitt rocked him with a spinning back fist. I wouldn't say 10 seconds into the round. So
it was early.
It was early, and I rocked Jesse.
And Jesse felt that.
Yeah. Oh, he felt that, and it's actually funny. Before we did the walk down, he said, "The only thing I'm scared of is his spinning back fist." Sure as shit, fucking gets caught for the first 10 seconds, But I expect Jesse not to get caught with that spinning back fist, but I also expect Keith to throw a lot of those spinning back fists this time. And then the featured fight is a 5-round ISK New York State amateur title with Rini Dukas defending his belt against Ferris Lyle. And if you know Ferris Lyle, he's a very, very sound fighter. And Rini Dukas actually used to be one of my sparring partners. Rini Dukas is a very good fighter. I am very, very excited about that fight, that's for sure. The undercard is stacked. We have 7 undercard fights, and it's great. We also have the former number 1 contender for the MMA championship, Tony. How do you pronounce Tony's last name?
Oyurema, I think?
Yes, Tony's doing his first kickboxing fight, and he actually been sparring me. That kid hits hard, so I expect a good fight for him, So that's definitely good. And then you got Macho Lopez fighting Robert from Fusion MMA. That's definitely going to be a firework fight, that's for sure.
Absolutely. You can't go wrong with those. I know every time you're at Jackhammer Promotions, there's always some great action between these fights.
Definitely some action. There's definitely going to be a lot of actions. We also got heavyweight Williams versus Smith. That's going to be bombs away, that's for sure.
Well, that should be a real fight.
That should be a real good fight.
Williams had a big finish earlier.
Big finish early, but now he's doing kickboxing, and Malik has the advantage on the experience, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But definitely a good fight. Definitely could be a good fight.
Yeah, that should be interesting because Malik's up a lot of weight from when he won the title at. I believe he won the title at 185.
Yeah, it's funny I actually say that. Malik's sitting very heavy right now, so I don't know how his training's going, but he's always game, that's for sure. Always game.
Absolutely, yeah. He's always down. Puts on a great performance every time he's in.
Big time, big time.
That's awesome. Another stat card, and that's the fight started at what time?
Doors open at 4 o'clock, not 4:30. They open at 4 o'clock. The first fight starts at 5 p.m. sharp. 5 p.m. sharp. Guys, if you guys are from Canada and you're going to be watching us on live stream, myself versus Jason starts at 7 p.m. We're going to be entering the ring at 7 p.m. So the first fight starts at 5. We are entering the ring at 7 p.m. But there's 2 fights after my fights. Even though we're the main event, there's 2 fights after my fight. But I am fighting at 7 p.m. and the undercard's at 5 p.m.
Absolutely. And those who want to watch the fight stream can't get tickets. That's on jackhammerfights.com. So make sure you check that out.
Definitely make sure you guys check it out, because I know a lot of people from Canada have been asking me for the link. So it's jackhammerfights.com. You guys can check it out. I believe it's $19.99.
I believe you put it at
$24.99. See, I don't even know. I'm too focused on my fight.
But yeah, so that you got the stream come, and then if you want to go to the fight,
there's general admission left at the door. We have, I want to say, a handful of ringside tickets. I believe it's 8. So if you want to get ringside tickets, call me or text me at 631-645-6488. And to be honest, text me. It's a little bit easier than call me. So 631-645-6488.
Awesome. And there you have it. If you want to get tickets to go to the fight, ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to miss it. Bobby coming out of retirement. Can't go wrong. It's probably your last fight, you said?
Yeah, it's probably going to be my last one. I said it 4 years ago. But it's probably going to be my last one.
More than likely Bobby's last fight. So you don't want to miss this either. Get tickets and show up at Mulcahy's, which the venue is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, the venue's beautiful. Great food, great drinks, great energy. Every seat in there is VIP. It's great.
Absolutely, and they got the TVs with the fights on.
Oh, TVs with the fights. So if you're at the bar, you can just watch the TV, look up. Yeah, it is great. Great atmosphere, that's for sure.
So make sure you're there. Like you said, doors open at 4. Fights start at 5 p.m. sharp. Bobby and Jason enter the ring at 7 p.m. on the dot. So make sure you tune in or purchase a ticket and come on down.
Definitely, guys. It's going to be a good one.
Bobby, tell us a little bit about something you've learned about yourself as a coach, as a fighter, as a trainer. A little bit of what did you learn the most about yourself?
That I'm stubborn. I'm super stubborn. I learned that.
I'm sure you evolved over the years.
I definitely evolved over the years. It's I evolved throughout the years. I definitely evolved in seeing how to manage people and how to understand what different fighters, how the way they act, and understand fighters' minds. That's for sure. Because not every fighter is built the same way as I'm built. Every fighter is built different. So I have fighters that I have to baby. I have fighters that I don't have to baby at all. I have fighters that I have to praise. I have fighters that I have to tell they suck. Everyone's different. But throughout the years, it took me a while to realize that because at first you treat everyone the same way, and then you realize you can't treat everyone how you want to be treated. Everyone's a different fighter, that's for sure. So it took me a while to learn that. After I learned that, I got great relationships with all my fighters, and all my fighters have different fighting styles. Never have my fighters have the same fighting style.
Interesting. Because usually, like a lot of people always believe, they train here, they all fight the same way or this way their trainer has taught them.
Yep, that's funny you say that. I always compare my two fighters, Will Hoyer and Elvis Camejo, because they're both the same weight, and they both have around the same experience, and they do not fight at all the same. And I always say that's because I let them fight what's their style, and that's how they win fights. If I made Will fight like Elvis, he would never win. If I made Elvis fight like Will, he would never win. Those styles work for those guys, and and it takes a while to learn that. That not everyone's gonna be technical, not everyone's gonna be a brawler, not everyone has heart, not everyone has power. Everyone has different stuff.
Now you've been involved in boxing, kickboxing, MMA for a long time. Tell us a little bit, like last night you had the big Tyson Fury fight versus Wilder. Wilder ends up losing, I believe, in the 11th. Tell us a little bit about training for the long rounds, the 12 rounds, and then what it's like. What is it that boxing is missing? Because a lot of people believe MMA is kind of taken over, but the money's not there.
You know what it is? It's the rounds. People don't like that boxing's 12 rounds. You got an MMA title fight, it's 5 rounds. So you only got 5 rounds. That's not much. A boxing fight feels like a boxing fight's 12 3-minute rounds, 36 minutes. Even though an MMA fight's 5 5s, which is 25 minutes. But that difference seems like a world away. So people watching a 12-round boxing fight get very bored. If you're not a boxing fan, you get very bored. The crazy thing is, it always drives me nuts, is when boxers hold, people are like, they're holding, but they love MMA. And in MMA, they hold and take each other down. So that drives me crazy. But it's two different sports. I always say this because I used to always be like such a gun-ho boxing fan. I wasn't an MMA fan, but as I got more into the MMA, I realized it is two different sports. It is not the same sport at all. Boxing's totally different and MMA is totally different because you need to train totally different for both of them, and you can't stand the same way you stand as a boxer as an MMA guy.
Absolutely.
And it's night and day. An MMA guy would not win a boxing fight, and just like a boxing guy would not win an MMA fight. I hate how people always try to compare them, but they're two different sports. Tyler Woodley's getting beat up by Jake Paul. But Jake Paul's a boxer. Tyler Woodley's a wrestler. If they did an MMA fight, Tyler Woodley would kill him. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
it's two different sports, and that's what people get it confused. You know, I understand in MMA you train boxing, but you don't train boxing the same way as a real boxer.
It's
you know?
like kind of warped towards MMA.
Yeah.
To defend also the
you got to
takedown.
defend the takedowns. You got to defend getting your leg kicked. The boxer is plant his feet and throw punches.
Yeah.
You know, a kickboxer or MMA guy can't plant his feet; he get kicked in the leg. So people don't understand the difference. You know, and the more like I said, I'm a diehard boxing fan. So you know, I used to always like hate on MMA, but now I really got into loving MMA and realized they're two different sports. They're two different sports, and people have to start realizing they're two different sports. But the money's always going to be where the boxing is, and that's, you know, and I don't know why. You could say UFC just has such a market that they get to take all the money as the promoter, but they have a market that anyone wants to just fight on UFC. At least boxing, you fight different titles. It's not Jackhammer Promotions. It's you fight for your promoter and you fight for any belt you want. UFC, people think MMA is UFC. You know,
Yeah. Yep.
UFC is the sanctioned body.
Yeah,
Not even the sanctioned body. It's the promotion.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. People get that confused.
I always try to tell people when they're like, "Oh, UFC," I'm like, "No, MMA."
Yeah.
I'm like, "There's a difference. MMA, UFC is like NFL to football.
Yes.
Football's the sport. NFL's the league.
Yes.
And that's how I try to explain it to everyone.
100
Same thing with hockey and NHL.
100%.
Basketball.
And UFC did such a good job in making them like that NFL.
Yep.
To football.
Absolutely.
That's your good way to put it. That's 100% right.
But unfortunately, their pay, like all the big major four sports, they pay about 50% around there to the athletes of what comes in. UFC pays, I think, about 15 to 12, which is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. The also thing about boxing is they do the main event. That's the card. The main event's the card. That's the pay-per-view fight. It's the main event, and they put crap on the undercard. UFC gets you the whole main card is awesome, and that's how they get you to buy it. So if boxing did a little bit of what UFC did, they would be better. But then it goes both ways. If UFC did only the main event as the big attraction and the undercard not so good, they could pay those guys more money.
Absolutely.
So it goes
Makes
both.
sense.
It goes both ways, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, boxing could be better if the undercard was stacked, but they would have to pay those guys less. UFC would be better if the undercard wasn't as good and the main event got more money.
Now, do you think a thing like, I believe it's Thriller was the company that had Jake Paul's fights? Do you think that the Jake Paul, Logan Paul fights are good for MMA? Because a guy like Jake Paul, like he's calling out Dana White for the pay, and then gave more pay. He took less and gave more to the undercard fighters.
I think first I hated Jake Paul, and I think, oh my God, this is so stupid. And then I realized, you know what? This guy's good for the sport, and good for the sport as in combat sports. Yeah. He's not just good for boxing; he's good for combat sports because, like you said, he's pressing action to get people more pay, and he's also bringing more eyes to combat sports that were never on combat sports.
Yeah, he's got all those YouTube followers that would never watch sports.
Yeah, like
watching now.
Yeah, people like hating on him, but yet the dude trains. Yeah, he's not that good.
No, but he puts
decent.
work in.
But he's training. Yeah, he should never be professional. He should have did amateur fights. But he's training. You got to give him credit. He's training. Whoever's managing him is managing him great. Is getting him, you know, MMA fighters that were wrestlers that retired. Yeah. So they're kind of keeping him out of harm's way. You know, let's get him a big name that's a wrestler, and you know, have him box then. So you got to give him credit on that. You know. But other than that, it's good. People think it's dumb, but you know, people love to watch it, and that brings eyes to the girl fight. What's Amanda's last name? The Puerto Rican girl that fought under the undercard of Jake Paul.
I forget.
But she has all these eyes on her now. Yeah. No one would ever know who she was if she's a world champion. She's a world-class boxer, but no one knows who she was. Now they know who she is because she was on the undercard. You know, so that's great for that's great for boxing then.
Absolutely. And a question I also heard was, like, you see female boxing or kickboxing hasn't done that well, but female MMA is blowing up. Do you believe there's a reason for that, or Dana
White? He does great promotion. He does great promotion because he's putting these girls as the main events, and these people. The problem is not the problem. The thing about Dana White, he does all these things and makes you feel like you know these fighters. You know, and like boxing used to do that 24/7, and that used to be great on HBO. They used to follow the fighters around every week, and that used to be great. You used to know the main event fighters, but I feel like UFC does so much like that you feel like you really know these fighters, and that's how you get fans.
Absolutely, yeah. They really bring it in your home,
and
make you feel like. And then I think another thing, I feel like a lot of boxers train by themselves.
Yeah,
where MMA fighters are all in a gym, and there's tons of them.
It's funny.
And then they go out and train, and then they're fighting, and they're like, "Oh, I train with this guy." You hear that often.
Yeah.
"Oh, I train with that guy, and you'll see it Long Island MMA and all the gyms on Long Island, the Law MMA.
Yeah.
All the guys that fight on the local shows, they'll train with the big guys.
Yeah. What's funny you say that, because I just said, like, I keep my circle very close when I fight. I don't have a team. But, MMA is totally different. Everyone trains with everyone. And then their whole team comes to sports them, and that's how you get a following.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's definitely good to have that in the sport, that's for sure.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about what's in store for Jackhammer Promotions in the future. I know you want to bring some guys from England and other countries over to fight, do the U.S. versus the rest of the world type stuff.
Well, April 9th. Jackhammer Promotions will be in England April 9th. So April 9th, we will be flying in 4 or 5 guys from Jackhammer Promotions Team USA flying over to England, and that's to be our first show over in England. So I'm very excited to be able to have Jackhammer Promotions over in England. We do have teams from Chile, teams from Poland, teams from Scotland, and teams from Ireland that are going to be part of this whole thing that we got going on. We're actually working on a new ranking system. We were supposed to have it done this year, but it looks like it's going to be done next year, which I feel bad, but we're going to be vacating like most of the belts, and then we're going to start with a U.S. A state title and then a U.S. title, and then when you win the U.S. title, you'll be able to get a shot to fight one of these world-class fighters in a different country, or have them come here and fight for a world title.
Now, this has probably been a long time in the making. I know these are a lot of connections you've made
long time
over the years. How excited are you about this? I'm
super excited. Like I said, like if fighting, I got to travel the world fighting. People don't realize that. Like, I traveled the whole world fighting. I'm still young, and I'm going to travel more, and it's great to be able to travel the world. So fighting, it's funny. When I went to school to be a physical education teacher, and then I opened up a gym, and I'm just like, I made the right choice, because this is my world. Being a fighter is my world. Being a trainer, being a promoter, and like, I'm still fighting because it's that itch. But other than that, when I do really, really, really retire, I get to still travel the world, which is amazing.
Absolutely. And after this fight card, October 17th, you have another one before the end of the year in November.
November 21st, we have Joe Simmons making his first title defense on the Beatdown 5. And we have that card stacked. We have Nate Cruz coming back, Nate Cruz lost on, what was that, the Beatdown 3.
Beatdown 3, okay.
It was Beatdown 4. Maybe it was
the last fight card?
2 fight cards ago.
Yeah, Beatdown 3, I believe.
Yeah, and he lost a very controversial decision. And now he's getting a shot at the ISKA title. And Nate Cruz is definitely a good fighter, so I'm happy that he's getting a shot at the ISKA title. And he definitely is a tough opponent. I don't want to say the opponent now, because we'll wait till we start pumping out these posters and making these announcements. And that's going to happen probably Wednesday after my fight. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Bobby, it's always a pleasure chatting with you. I'm looking forward to seeing you get in the ring.
Thank you.
What can fans expect from this fight from you? Prediction for the fight?
I'm coming out guns blazing. My gas tank is always good, and I'm gonna press the action no matter what his game plan is. I'm gonna oppose my will. How I'm gonna win, I don't know, but I'm definitely winning. That's for sure.
Now, I saw your trunks you posted online on Facebook. You got the white trunks with the gold trim and Rocky written across, I believe, the front.
Yeah, of course. My son's always with me, tattooed on my arm. My walkout shirts have Rocky's name on it. My son's my world. So being able to fight in front of him means everything to me. Of course, I ain't losing in front of my son, that's for sure.
It's awesome. Like I said, I can't wait for this fight, to call this fight. I'll be commentating with Dan Cion, so it should be a great fight card. For those who can't come, make sure you order the pay-per-view at jackhammerfights.com. You don't want to miss this fight. This is going to be a great fight, great undercard, and we're going to have a pre-fight show earlier that's going to loop or at least stream right before the fights come on. A lot of good stuff coming at you for Jackhammer Promotions for this fight. Any last words, Bobby?
Expect someone getting knocked out in my fight, that's for sure.
There you have it. Someone's getting knocked out. I'm going to leave it there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Carroll alongside Bobby Campbell, and this is Jackhammer Promotions fight, like I said, October 17th. And make sure you check it out. There'll be some articles coming out. MyMMAnews.com. And this is Carroll's Corner MMA Podcast, and we're signing off.